Okay, so ever think about what happens after you flush or like how your sink stays unclogged? Well, get ready to roll up our sleeves because today we're diving deep, literally, into the world of drain technicians.
Ooh, nice one. And we've got RoleCatcher's ultimate career guide to help us navigate this hands-on career path.
Right. Their guide is awesome, super detailed. So, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's start with the basics. What does a drain technician even do all day? I'm picturing plungers and wrenches.
Well, you're not wrong, but it's way more than just unclogging sinks. It's like, imagine being a doctor, but for drainage systems. You diagnose problems, recommend solutions, and make sure everything's flowing smoothly.
Okay, so it's more than a quick fix, right? You need to understand the whole system.
Totally. Analyzing designs, making sure installations are up to code, understanding how every part connects. I mean, a tiny valve here, a clogged pipe there, it all adds up.
Makes sense. And the guide mentions this field is booming right now. High demand. What's driving that need?
Well, a biggie is our infrastructure. A lot of sewer systems are like ancient history. They're due for some serious TLC.
Makes sense. Things wear out.
Yeah. And then there's this push for being eco-friendly, saving water. So you need experts to install and maintain those systems.
Right, right. Old pipes plus new tech equals job security. Speaking of which, RoleCatcher doesn't sugarcoat the work environment. Indoor and outdoor environments, confined spaces, trenches. They even mention working underground.
Yeah, it's definitely not your average desk job, that's for sure. You could be like crammed in a basement 1 minute, then outside inspecting sewer lines the next.
So you got to be as comfortable with a wrench as you are with, like, different environments.
100%. And you got to be ready for anything. We're talking unpleasant smells, tight spaces.
Okay, I gotta ask, what about those smells? Is that, like, just part of the job? The guy had mentioned being safe around that stuff.
Yeah, it's not always glamorous, that's for sure. You got to be careful. Drain technicians work with hazardous materials. Knowing how to handle that stuff safely and wearing the right gear is super important.
So not for the faint of heart. But on a lighter note, RoleCatcher lists a variety of tasks as a perk. What's that look like day to day?
Okay, so imagine this. You start your day checking out blueprints for a new system in some fancy high-rise. Then boom, you're off to a house with a busted sewer line. Later, maybe installing a grease trap at a restaurant. Every day is different.
Talk about a mixed bag. With all that variety, there's got to be room to grow, right? What's a typical career path lot like?
That's a great question, and it's something RoleCatcher breaks down really well. So you start entry level, learning the ropes. You got it. You start entry level. Think of it kind of like an apprenticeship. You're assisting those seasoned pros. Learning to identify different pipe systems, getting comfortable with the tools of the trade.
Yeah, yeah, like getting your hands dirty, mastering the fundamentals.
Exactly. Then, as you gain experience, you climb that ladder to junior technician. More responsibility there. Maybe you're tackling smaller jobs solo, troubleshooting those everyday drainage issues, maybe even showing the ropes to newer team members.
So not just upping your skills, but you start leading a little, sharing what you've learned.
Right on. And for those who are ambitious, the path can lead to senior drain technician. At that point, you're the expert, overseeing the complex stuff, managing teams, making sure everything's up to code, and running smoothly.
Wow, from apprentice to the expert, that's cool. The guide also mentioned becoming your own boss, self-employment. Is that a common move for drain technicians?
Oh, absolutely. With enough experience and a bit of that entrepreneurial spirit, a lot of drain technicians take the leap and start their own plumbing companies. So that independence, building your own client base, really becoming part of the community.
No, that's awesome. Okay, but let's rewind a sec. What skills do you actually need to like really crush it in this field? Because I'm guessing it's more than knowing how to use a wrench, right?
You hit the nail on the head. Of course, knowing your way around pipes, valves, the whole system, those technical skills are key. But RoleCatcher really highlights problem solving, thinking critically.
Because sometimes a clogged sink is like just the beginning.
Exactly. A good drain technician doesn't just fix the obvious. It's about figuring out the why. Why is this pipe always backing up? A design flaw. Pesky tree roots messing with the sewer line. It's like detective work.
So a little Sherlock Holmes in the toolbox. I like it. And the guide mentioned customer service, which makes sense.
Oh, it's huge. Think about it. You're often dealing with people who are stressed, frustrated, maybe a little grossed out, let's be real. Being able to explain those technical things simply, offering solutions, and just reassuring them, hey, I got this. That's gold.
Right, right. So you're not just fixing pipes, you're putting people at ease. And with tech changing so fast, I imagine you got to be adaptable, right?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher talks about all the new stuff, robotic equipment, drones checking out sewers, fancy sensors monitoring water flow. It's a game changer. Drain technicians need to roll with it, learn those new skills.
So it's always evolving, no 2 days are the same.
Exactly. That's what keeps things interesting. You're always learning, solving problems, using your hands and your brain.
We've talked about the tough stuff, but what about the perks? What's rewarding about being a drain technician?
Well, job security is a big one. Like we said, skilled technicians are in high demand,
Mm.
and it's only going to grow from here. Plus, there's that satisfaction. You solve a problem, you see the results firsthand.
You're making a difference. Keeping homes and businesses running, protecting public health. That's gotta feel good.
It really does. And honestly, there's a certain pride in having skills most people don't. When that drain backs up, you're the one they call.
You're the plumbing superhero. Okay, but speaking of challenges, the guide mentioned working with other pros, engineers, architects, construction crews. That sounds interesting sometimes.
You'd say that again. Strong communication, knowing how to work as a team, it's essential. One day you're explaining a drainage issue to an engineer, the next you're hashing out solutions with a construction crew. You got to bridge that gap between the technical talk and everyday language.
So you're a master communicator and a master plumber. Sounds like drain technicians wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, like you're conducting an orchestra, making sure everyone's in sync.
Perfect analogy. And speaking of keeping things in sync, RoleCatcher's got a whole section on time management. Really important for this gig.
Because I bet when those emergency calls come in, everything gets flipped around.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Your day can go from 0 to 60 in a second. You've got your schedule, you think you're all set, then bam, a pipe bursts in some busy restaurant kitchen. Suddenly you're juggling, reprioritizing.
Talk about pressure. You got to think on your feet, adapt to
You
anything.
got it. And it's not just about those crazy moments. It's about juggling multiple projects at once, deadlines, making sure it all gets done, and done right. So organization is key. Attention to detail, staying calm under pressure.
Absolutely. It's that perfect blend of those hands-on skills, that problem-solving mind, and then those, like, people skills. Communication, time management, they're all important.
A lot to juggle, but it sounds super rewarding. Before we wrap up, I want to circle back to tech's impact on all this. RoleCatcher mentioned robots, drones, those high-tech sensors. How do you think all that's going to shape the future of drain technology?
Oh, man. It's an exciting time for sure. I think we're moving into this whole new world, way more data-driven when it comes to, like, maintaining and fixing drains. Imagine sensors catching a leak before it even happens, or robots handling those super dangerous jobs.
Like something straight out of sci-fi. So what's that mean for someone who's, like, thinking about this career path?
It means being ready for anything, being open to those new technologies, adapting, embracing that future where the old school skills meet the cutting edge stuff.
So it's not just about being handy anymore. You got to be tech savvy too.
100%. And that's what's so cool about it. It's constantly changing. It's a challenge. And it's at the heart of an industry that really matters.
It's about more than just unclogging drains. It's about building the future of our water. Well said.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be leading the way someday.
I hope so. Well, on that note, we'll flesh out this episode. Gotta say, never thought I'd find drain technology so fascinating.
Right. You never know what you'll learn. It just goes to show, sometimes the most interesting stuff is right beneath the surface.
Truth. Huge thanks to RoleCatcher for that awesome guide to this essential job. And to everyone listening, catch you next time as we dive into another exciting career path.